I have a question for you, my darlings. Just sit for a second and ask yourself, what did you charge for the last job? But more importantly, did you actually know if that number made you any money? And I'm not saying I got paid, so yeah, actually made you money, covered your costs, your time, your tax, your overheads, and left something over that you could call profit. Because if you hesitate on that second question, even if there was a flicker of, this episode's for you, so pull up a chair, grab a whiskey, a tea, a coffee, a Pepsi, whatever it is, because we need to talk. This is a specially requested episode. I'm Khandie. This is The Loud Lens. And today we're talking about undercharging, why photographers do it, what's actually driving you, and what needs to change. I put a video out recently on my YouTube channel. You might be on there. Get on YouTube if you haven't. Go watch it. It's sensational. I look great. I'm actually a drowned rat in it. So thanks, London. Thanks, summer in Britain. It's something along the lines of, is photography still a viable career in 2026? And while my answer was yes, it is viable, I was very clear that the thing that most likely to make it unviable in this market isn't the market itself or AI or the economy or any of the external bogeymen people like to point at. It is us. Us. It's the decisions we make or don't make about how we run our businesses. And one of the most consistent, most damaging decisions I see photographers make at every level, not just beginners, is undercharging. I am guilty myself. In fact, I pulled myself up on it today. So today we're going to go through, I've picked out the four main reasons why it happens, and not to make anyone feel bad, not to be smug about it, because I just said I've done it. I've been in this industry long enough to know that most of this stuff is completely understandable given how photographers are and aren't taught to think about business. But understandable does not make it okay, and it definitely doesn't mean you need to keep doing it. All right. Take a big gulp of that drink. All right. We're going to go in hard and we're going to go in quick. Okay. Reason one, you don't know your actual costs. Right, this is the one that makes me wanna flip a table lovingly in your direction. Lovingly, I said lovingly. A significant number of photographers, I'm not talking about people who've picked up a camera on Tuesday, I'm talking about people who've been doing it for a few years, maybe a few months, people who have clients, people who consider themselves professional, who don't know what it actually costs them to run a business. And I don't mean they have it memorized by every line down to the penny. I mean, they have never, not once, sat down and probably worked it out. I mean, let's talk about what costs actually mean, because I think a lot of people hear that and they think gear and maybe insurance and that's it, job's done. Your costs are your gear. Yes, they are, darling. They are also your editing software, your gallery delivery platform, your booking and contract software, your account software, or your actual accountant, your website hosting, your email marketing tool, your props, your backdrops, your studio hires if you don't own a space, your studio rent and utilities if you do, your travel, petrol, parking, train tickets, wear and tear in your car, your your CPD, your workshops, your mentoring, your trade show tickets because you have to keep developing or you'll stagnate, your professional memberships, your marketing spend, the hours, and we are counting hours as a cost here, that you spend on inquiries that never convert on social media, on admin, on emails, on editing, on culling, on client communication, on all the invisible work that happens before and after the actual shoot. And tax. Are you setting aside tax? Because that money, I hate to say it, is not yours. The number in your bank account after a booking is not your income. A chunk of it belongs to HMRC. And if you are not treating it that way, you're going to have a very unpleasant conversation with yourself at the end of the tax year. And as the rules around this is starting to change, make tax digital. Please tell me you're at least getting into that. Yeah, it is not optional knowledge. This is not nice if you have if you want that feeling of being organized one afternoon. Running a business in this country means you are operating within a legal and financial framework, whether you like it or not. You have tax obligations. You have legal obligations around contracts and data protection, and depending on what you shoot, even safeguarding. You are not just a person with a camera that occasionally gets paid. You are a business, and a business that doesn't know its costs ain't a business. It's a hobby with an invoice template. It is a disaster waiting to go up in flames. I'm not saying this to be harsh. I'm saying it because it reframes the matter. The moment you accept that this is a proper business with proper overheads, proper legal responsibilities, proper financial obligations, is the moment you start treating your pricing like it has to actually work rather than just sound reasonable. And there's this thing called cost of doing business calculation, sometimes seen as CODB. Charlie Oscar Delta Bravo. Free calculators are online so you can help. Go find one this week. Sit with it, put your actual numbers in, not estimates, not guesses, actual numbers. It will probably be uncomfortable, and you might realize that you've been undercharging by a significant margin for quite a long time. That's okay. A few years ago, I was right where you were. The point isn't to beat yourself up about it. The point is to know it's so you can fix it. You cannot price correctly if you don't know your costs. Full stop, exclamation point, whatever you want to say. Everything else we're talking about is about the fear, the comparison, imposter syndrome. All of it sits on top of this. This is the top pyramid to get just get it sorted, all right? Now, reason 2, fear of losing that booking. Okay, so we get into the emotional stuff. And this one, I think, is the one that keeps more photographers stuck than anything else. It's fear, plain and simple. Not a dramatic, obvious fear, but a quiet one. The kind that shows up in the moment you're about to send that quote and you think, oh, what if that's too much? What if they say no? What if they go somewhere else? What if they think I'm taking the piss? What if I shave a bit off? And then you don't raise your prices even though you know you should, and you start adding things in, more edit images, a longer shoot time, a second location, prints thrown in, not because it improves the package, but you're trying to stack the value so high that the price looks justified. You're essentially pre-negotiating against yourself before a client has even asked for a negotiation or even uttered a word at you. What are you doing? You're unsticking it. Leave it. Here's what that does. It trains your client to expect that behavior. When you discount without being asked, when you add freebies unprompted, when you hedge and over explain your pricing like you're apologizing for it, you are signaling that that number is not fixed. And your clients are not stupid. They pick up on it. Some of them will push because you've already shown them there's room to push, babe. And now you're in a negotiation that you didn't want, but you created. Have fun. I want to be really clear though. A client saying no to your price is not a rejection of you. It's not evidence that you overcharged or undercharged or overstepped or got above yourself. It's information. It means they are not your client. Not everyone is, and that is fine. It might mean that your value positioning hasn't landed quite right, which is a marketing problem you can solve. Hey, this is a great time to subscribe to this podcast or wherever you're listening on my YouTube, because I discuss all about marketing and how you can position yourself a lot better. Yeah, and it's all free. You don't have to sign up for anything. You can just listen to my dulcet tones and be like, wow, she rabbits on, but she's got a voice of a cantankerous, drunken angel. I love it. I'm here for it. It might mean that they genuinely don't have the budget, going back to your clients, in which case there's nothing you could do, and dropping your price just means you do the same work for less money for someone who didn't value it in the first place. And that, my darling, is a red flag. None of these scenarios are improved by undercharging. The right client, the one who will actually value what you do, treat you with respect, will pay what you charge. But they can only find you and trust you if you're showing up with a price that reflects your actual worth. And when you discount with fear, you don't attract better clients. You attract clients who want discounts. And once they've got one discount, they'll want more. Hold your price. It will feel uncomfortable for the first time. Just do it anyway. It's a really good tactic. Wait for the client to make that noise. Don't you start straight away. Don't use words like, oh, it's just going to cost you. Be firm in what you're saying. You stand up for your business. Okay. Reason 3, comparing to other photographers. And this one frustrates me in a very specific way because it masquerades as research and it feels like due diligence, and it's friggin' not. Here's what happened. You want to set your prices. So, okay. And you're wondering if yours are in the right ballpark. So you go and look at other photographers in your area, see what they're charging. You'll check a few websites. You might even go into a Facebook group. You look at someone's work you admire and see what they're putting out there. And then you'll use that as your benchmark. The problem is you have no idea what those numbers are based on. You don't know their costs. You don't know their overheads. You don't know whether they rent or own their own space, whether they have staff, whether they actually have done a CODB calculation, whether they've just picked a number that felt competitive. You don't even know if they're profitable or if they're secretly hemorrhaging money and haven't realized yet. You don't know if they're a full-time photographer supporting themselves entirely from the work, or they've got a partner's income covering the mortgage and the rent, the photography is a supplement. You know none of that. You are just seeing that number and going, right, that's it. And yet you're using that number to base yours. What? And what's worse is the race to the bottom instinct kicks in for a lot of people. The idea that if you price just slightly below the competition, you'll somehow get the bookings they don't. Because that sounds logical until you realize the strategy only works if the price is the if the price is the primary. Guys, so much words in there. If the price is the primary reason people choose a photographer, and the most good clients, it's really not. They are not on a spreadsheet comparing you on cost. They're looking at your work, your brand, your vibe, and whatever need to trust you. You should not be competing on price. You should never be competing on price. If price is the only reason someone is choosing you, that is a red flag. pricing, yours, needs to come from your own business, your costs, your experience level, your positioning, your market, the transformational outcome you deliver to your clients, not from someone else's website that you found at 11:30 on a Tuesday morning when you're spiraling about your rates. Stop looking sideways because the answer isn't there. The answer to your prices are in your own business model. Okay? Well, we're getting in there. My mouth is getting so tongue tied. I'm like, don't say subscribe. Please subscribe. I'd love it. I like those numbers going up. And comment. Feel free. Own it. Have you ever felt like this? Have you gone, Khandie? Oh my God, I hate doing all these numbers. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I know. Me too. Me too. Okay. Imposter syndrome. Then we're here for the fourth one. And I think this one I think almost every person listening will recognize, even if they never called it by its name. All the beast, what it is. Say it 3 times and send it back to hell. Imposter syndrome. The quiet, persistent, deeply annoying voice that's possibly mine. Maybe I'm the voice of imposter syndrome. That tells you you've not quite earned it yet. That you're not established enough. You're not consistent enough, not experienced enough, not credible enough. That you're not whatever the hell it is today enough to charge what you actually want to charge. And what maddening thing about it is, it doesn't go away when you get more experienced. I wish I could tell you it does. I wish the demon gets cast out. Go away, demon. It doesn't. It doesn't. I've spoken to photographers who've been shooting for decades, who've had industry awards, whose work has been published on massive billboards, who shoot celebrities, who have waiting lists, and they still have imposter syndrome. They will still worry about their prices and feel weird about their number. They'll still think about throwing in extras because they feel like it's good business. Because some part of them is thinking, I hope this makes up for the fact I feel like I'm charging too much. Imposter syndrome is not evidence that you are underqualified. I just really need you to hear that. If anything, it's the opposite. It tends to show up in people who actually care, like they're doing good work, who are self-aware enough to know what they don't know, and they hold themselves in a high standard. These are really good qualities, darlings, all right? But they have been weaponized against you by your own noggin, by your own brain, and you're letting it affect you mentally and your own income and your business. The voice that says, maybe I shouldn't charge that much, has never looked at your portfolio. It has never spoken to your clients, and it has never seen the work that you put in before, during, and after a shoot. It doesn't know what you know or what you built or what people actually feel when they see what you produce. It's just fear in a dirty, grotty cardigan pretending to be a reason. And so it shouldn't be reflected upon to use when you're planning your rates. Just it should not even be entering your head. If you're genuinely newer and your price reflects that you are honestly still in your development phase, that is not imposter syndrome. That's appropriate positioning and it's fine. But if you've been doing this for years and still pricing that you're starting out because some part of you has not given yourself permission to charge properly, then that's something we need to address. No amount of experience will fix it on its own because it's not actually the experience. It's about deciding that you're allowed. So decide. If you can't, I'm telling you, charge what you believe you are worth, what you know your business needs to make, and then add your worth on. Your worth could be however you deem that, but please do not be running a business at some assumed cost and wondering why you're not breaking even, wondering why when the gas bill comes in, you're like, hey, I haven't got enough money for this. Well, you've been working so hard, but you've not been charging for it. There's this saying that 2 good paid clients are worth more than five poorly paying clients. I strongly believe that. Okay. Now, 4 reasons: not knowing your cost, fear of rejection, pricing against other photographers, imposter syndrome. They are all understandable. None of them are good enough reasons to keep going as you are. It leads to burnout. I know this industry isn't easy. The race to the bottom culture is hard and real in this industry. There are photographers out there shooting full weddings for 400 quid. And somehow that becomes a benchmark people feel they have to compete against. There is a persuasive, stubborn idea that creative work should be affordable, accessible, and practically charitable, and that wanting to be properly paid for something is somehow greedy or arrogant. That idea is wrong, and it has always been wrong, and it is actively damaging people's livelihoods and mental health. Photography is a skill. It takes years to develop. The equipment alone costs thousands. The software, the insurance, the legal knowledge, the people skills, the ability to make a nervous client feel comfortable in front of your camera. None of that is nothing. None of that should be given away at a price that doesn't sustain the person doing it. You are running a business, a real one, with real costs and real legal obligations and real financial consequences, and you deserve to be paid properly for it. So here's what I want you to do. Pick one thing from today, just one, and act on it this week. If you've never done your CODB, do it. If you've got a quote sitting in your drafts that you're too scared to send, send it. If you've been checking other photographers charge what they charge every time because you feel wobbly about your prices, stop. If the imposter voice has been running your pricing strategy, notice it, name it, and tell it to sit the fuck down. You don't have to do this all at once, but you do have to start somewhere. And you do have to take this seriously because it is serious. It's your livelihood. It's what you want your career to be like. So you need to treat it like one. I am rooting for you. I want you to have a business that makes you proud. I want you to have a business that succeeds. I want you to future proof your business. I will keep having these conversations as long as people need to hear them. This has been The Loud Lens. I hope you share this with somebody who might need to hear it. And I can't wait to hear from you. Tell me how you're getting on. Tell me what you're struggling with. I would love to do more episodes that are specially requested. I have absolutely loved doing this podcast. There's over 100 episodes, and it's been an absolute honor to be able to teach you, mentor you in this sort of weird medium way. So I hope you're enjoying it. As ever, I shall see you or hear annoy your eardrums in the next episode. Bye.